Right. Let me go and open one notepad. First, let me go and open one notepad. Uh, and let me keep here. What is the agenda for today's classes? Let me go and keep here. What is the agenda for today's classes? In today's class, we'll go and discuss about uh, introduction to introduction to Microsoft Power Platform. So in today's class, in the next coming 60 minutes of time, in the next coming 60 minutes of time, so we are going to discuss about the complete introduction to Power Platform. So in today's class, we'll understand the different points, guys. We'll discuss about what is Power Platform, and then we'll understand about what we can do with the help of Power Platform software, and who will use the Power Platform, who will hire the Power Platform developers. In detail about this, we are going to discuss in the today's class, right? Fine. So first of all, let me go and list out all the different points. I'll go and list out all the different points which I'm going to cover now in today's class, right? Let me list out all the different points, guys. The first point we'll understand in today's class is what is Power Platform. And the second point we'll understand in today's class about business applications. What is meant by business applications? And third point we'll understand in today's class is how to implement the business applications using Power Platform. How to implement what? The business applications using Power Platform. And then the next point we'll understand. Next point we'll understand Power Platform architecture. Power Platform architecture. So what is the architecture of Microsoft Power Platform? Let me go and show you the architecture, guys. Let me open the architecture. So this is what the Power Platform architecture. So by the end of this today's class, you'll understand what is the architecture of Microsoft Power Platform. So we'll understand this architecture by the end of this today's class, right? Fine. Okay. So these are all the points which we are going to discuss now in today's class. These are all the different points which we are going to discuss now in today's class. Now, among all those points, first let me start discussing about what is Power Platform. Now, try to understand, guys. Uh, for now, just keep in mind at an high level what we can do with the help of Power Platform, guys. For now, at an high level, just keep in mind what we can do with the help of Power Platform. So, within the Power Platform, we can create the apps. Within the Power Platform, we can do what? We can create apps. Uh, and within the Power Platform, within the Power Platform, we can create some websites, and within the Power Platform we can create some chatbots, and within the Power Platform we can do some automations. And within the Power Platform we can store the data. It acts as one data source. And also within the Power Platform we can do what? Data analysis. These are all the six things, six components which we are going to implement within the Power Platform, guys. So how to implement all the six components within the Power Platform, we'll understand. So first off, we'll understand how to implement all the six components within the Power Platform. Also, we'll come to know why we need to go and implement it, why we need to create an app, why we need to create the websites, creating the chatbots. What is the need of creating all the six components? We'll understand. And also, we'll come to know how to go and implement these components within the Power Platform, right? And next, along with this, we'll understand two more points now in today's class. The next point we'll understand, that is who will, the next point we'll understand, that is who will use the Power Platform software, who will use what? Who will use the Power Platform software. Along with this, we'll understand one more point. The next point to understand about, that is who will hire the Power Platform developers. Who will hire whom? Power Platform developers. These 2 points also will understand now in today's class, right? So these are all the points which we are going to discuss now in today's class, guys. I'm listing out all the points we are going to cover now, right? Now, among all these points, first let me go and discuss about who will use Power Platform and who will hire the Power Platform developers. First, we'll go and understand these 2 points, guys. Let me go and discuss. Now, keep in mind, try to understand here. Who will use the Power Platform now? First point. Who will use the Power Platform? Let's say if there is any company, the companies will do what? The companies will do some business, guys. Let's take If there is any company, the companies will do what? They'll do some business. Now let's take well-known companies for us. Let's take Amazon. Amazon is one company. Now they're doing what business? Amazon is doing what business? They're doing some e-commerce business. And let's take some other company like ICICI. It is one company. Now they're doing what business? They're doing some banking business, right? And let's take some other company like Swiggy. Swiggy is one company. They're doing some business. What business? Some food business. So like this, if you take any company, whatever the company it is, the companies will do what? They'll do some business. Now let's take Amazon. Amazon is one company, guys. Let's take an example of Amazon. It is one company. They're doing what business? Amazon is doing some e-commerce business, guys. Amazon is doing what business? E-commerce business, right? Okay. Now try to understand. Do you people think that Amazon company directly they started doing the e-commerce business? Do you people think that Amazon company directly they started doing the e-commerce business? No, directly they are not able to start doing the business case. Or let's take ICICI. Now, do you people think that ICICI company directly they started doing the banking business? No. So now, if the company wants to start any business, the company wants to start any business, then before going to start the business, what the companies need to do? Before going to start the business, the companies need to go and implement some applications, guys. Before going to start the business, the companies need to do what? They need to go and implement some applications. Now, okay, so now we understand before going to start the business, the companies need to go and implement what? Some applications, right? Now, what applications the companies need to implement? I said that before going to start the business, I said that before going to start the business, what the companies need to do? The companies need to go and implement what? Some applications. They need to implement some applications. Now, what applications the companies need to implement here is the companies need to go and implement the business applications, guys. Right? Let me go and keep that point here. So, what applications the companies need to implement before going to start the business means they need to go and implement the business applications. Okay, fine, good. So, still now we understand to start any business, to start the business, before going to start it, the companies need to do what? They need to go and implement some applications. What applications? Business applications. Okay. Now, the next point we need to understand what are called as business applications. Okay, companies need to implement the business applications. Now, business applications means what? What are called as business applications? Let me give an example, guys. Let's take Amazon is there. They're doing the e-commerce business. So to do the e-commerce business, Amazon company need to implement some applications. What are called as business applications means, let's take Amazon company, they'll have some apps or not. Yes, app is one of the business application, guys. App is one of the business application. Let's take Amazon company will have some websites or not. Yes, website is one of the business application. Apps. Next one is web. Next one is what? Websites. And next, chatbots. Nowadays, companies are creating chatbots. Previously, it is not there. And next, they'll do some automations. To perform the automations, they need to have an application. And also, companies, if the company is doing some business, then they'll have some business data. Now they need to store the data. So to store the data, they need to have some data sources. Data source is one of the business application, and companies are going to analyze the business data. If you're doing some business, means definitely we'll go and analyze the business data. So to perform the data analysis, I want to do the data analysis now. To perform the data analysis, we'll go and use some other application, right? So these are all called as applications, guys. So if you are creating an app, means you are using one application to create the app. You are using one software and application. Website is one application. Chatbot is one application. To perform the automations, we are using some other application. To store the data, we are using one application. To do the data analysis, we are using some applications. So all these are called as business applications, guys. So if you take any company, it is whether it is Amazon, either I say Swiggy, Zomato, any company, guys. If you take any company nowadays, now before going to start the business, must those companies need to have this business applications, guys, right? So all this comes under where? All this comes under the business applications. There is no doubt, guys. So to start any business, if you take Amazon company will have the app or not? Yes. They'll have websites or not? Yes. They'll have the chatbot or not? Yes. Recently they added. They'll do the automations. They'll store the data. They'll do the data analysis. So now we understand before going to start the business, the companies need to go and implement some applications. What applications? Business applications. Now, what are called as business applications means business applications are nothing but these are all comes under the business applications, guys. These are all comes under where? Business applications. Now, I want to implement this business applications, guys. I want to go and implement all these business applications. Now, to implement all the business applications, we need to have one software. So, what is that software? Nowadays, the companies are using in order to go and implement this business applications means companies are using what? Companies are using the Power Platform software. Guys. So, in order to go and implement all the business applications, companies are using one software. What's that software? Power Platform, right? Okay. So now we understand who will use Power Platform. We understand who will use Power Platform. Who will use the Power Platform now? As we come to know that if there is any company, if the company if the company wants to start any business, then before going to start the business, what the companies need to do? They need to go and implement some business applications. To implement the business applications, what the software the companies are using nowadays? Power Platform. So we understand who will use Power Platform. Who will use it? Companies will use. And also one more point we understand here. Power Platform is used for what? Power Platform is used for what? Power Platform is used to implement the business applications. Right. One more point we understand here. Keep in mind, Power Platform is used for what? To implement the business applications. Right. Okay. So here we understand who will use Power Platform. The next point we need to understand who will hire the Power Platform developers now. Now keep in mind, guys, for this question also the answer is same. Now who will hire the Power Platform developers means who will hire the Power Platform developers means which company is using the Power Platform software? Which company is using what? Power Platform software to implement what? To implement the business applications. Which company is using the Power Platform software to implement the business applications? The same companies will go and hire whom? Same companies will go and hire the Power Platform developers. So let me go and mention that point here, guys. So who will hire the Power Platform developers means which company is using the Power Platform software? The same company will go and hire the Power Platform developers, right? Okay. Now, why these companies are hiring the Power Platform developers? Why these companies will go and hire this Power Platform developers? Because, why these companies are hiring the Power Platform developers? Because Power Platform developers will go and work with which software? Power Platform software. Power Platform developers will go and work with which software? Power Platform software. So now with the help of Power Platform software, Power Platform developers will go and implement what? With the help of Power Platform software, Power Platform developers will go and implement what? Business applications. Once after implementing the business applications, with the help of the business applications, companies will start doing what? Business. Companies will start doing what? Business. So, right. Okay. So here clearly we understand who will use Power Platform, who will hire the Power Platform developers. Also, Power Platform is used for what? Power Platform is used to implement all the business applications, right? So let me go and keep that point here, guys. Keep that point here. As we come to know, nowadays companies are using the Power Platform software implement the business applications. Nowadays, companies are using the Power Platform software to implement the business applications, right? Right. Okay. Fine. And now try to understand, guys. From here, we need to understand two more points. What we need to understand here is right. Keep in mind, guys. So I said that what I said. The first point we need to understand. Try to understand, guys. The first point we need to understand from here is, if you observe, I said what I said before going to start the business. What the companies need to do? Companies need to go and implement what? Business applications. Before going to start the business, what the companies need to do? They need to implement the business applications. Now, why? Why the companies need to implement the business applications before going to start the business? What's the need? What is the need of this business applications? This is the first point we need to understand. And the second point I need to understand here, how to implement this business applications using Power Platform. How to implement the business applications using Power Platform. These 2 points we need to understand now. So let me go and mention those 2 points here, guys. From here, we need to understand 2 more points. The first point we need to understand here is, what is the need of business applications? What is the need of business application? Let me keep here, guys. What is the need of business applications? And the second point we need to understand how to implement, how to implement the business applications using Power Platform. How to implement the business applications using Power Platform software. These 2 points we need to understand now, right? Okay, fine. So now, uh, first let me go and discuss about what is the need of business applications. Try to understand, guys. Try to understand why the companies need to go and implement the business applications means. Let me keep here. What is the use of this business applications is business applications are used to implement. These are used to implement or streamline. What you want to streamline? These are used to implement or streamline the business process. The business process of an organization. Of an organization, right? So this is what's the need of business applications. Try to understand, guys, what I'm telling. Business applications are used to implement or streamline. Now, what you want to streamline? I want to streamline the business process. I want to streamline what? Business process of an organization. So every organization, there is no doubt, they'll have some business process. Yes, let's take Amazon. Amazon company will have some business process on it. Yes, they'll have. If you take ICICI company will have some business process on it. Yes, they'll have. If you take Swiggy company will have some other business process on it. Yes, they'll have. So if you take any company, the companies will have some business process. Now I want to streamline that business process, guys. Now, if you want to streamline the business process of your organization, then we need to go and use what? We need to go and use the business applications. With the help of this business applications only, we are going to streamline business applications or use it to streamline the business process of what? Organizations. Every organization will have some business process. I want to streamline that business process. If you want to streamline the business process, you need to go and use what? Business applications only. Using business applications only, we can implement or streamline the complete business process of your organization, right? Okay. Now we understand what is the need of business applications. Business applications are used to streamline the business process, right? And now from here, we need to understand one point, that is what is meant by business process. I said that business applications are used to streamline what? Business process. Now, what is meant by business process? Let me keep here, guys. Business process will involve in business process will involves in multiple activities, command, tasks, and rules that are used to implement process of an organization. Simple. What the business process contains? Business process means it will involve in multiple activities, tasks, and rules. So if you're doing some business means we'll do multiple activities, we'll do multiple tasks. While doing these activities and tasks, there is some rules we need to follow. Now, by using what you can define all these multiple activities, tasks, and rules means with the help of the business applications only. By using these business applications only, we can implement or multiple activities, tasks, and right. Okay. So now we understand what is the need of business applications and what is meant by business process. And now the next point, we need to understand how to implement these business applications using Power Platform. How to implement the business applications using what? Power Platform, right? Okay. So now try to understand, guys. Now, before going to start discussing about how to implement the business applications using Power Platform, we need to understand one more point here. What we need to understand here is, while implementing the business applications, while implementing what? Business applications, there is one process we need to follow. There is one process. Just 1 second. Just 1 second, guys. Take some water. Right. Now try to understand. Before going to start discussing how to implement the business applications using Power Platform, we need to understand one point here. That is, while implementing these business applications, it is not recommended to implement the applications by your own. So there is one process we need to follow, guys. While implementing the business applications, there is one process we need to follow. So we'll call it as business applications process. So first we'll understand what's the process we need to follow while implementing the business applications. We'll call it as business applications process, right? So let me show you architecture of business applications process so that you'll understand a better way. Let me go and open the business applications process architecture. Now try to understand, guys. This is what the business applications process architecture of business applications process. Now in this business applications process, the first point. So while implementing the business applications, always uh, recommended to go and start with what? Front-end applications. While implementing the business applications, it is recommended to start with front-end applications, guys. Right? This is the step one. Step one is implementing what? Front-end applications. Now, front-end applications means what? Front-end applications is nothing but creating apps, websites, and then chatbots. These three comes on the front end. Front end means why I'm calling these applications are front end means whatever the applications the customers are able to see, whatever the applications customers are able to see with their eyes, those comes on the front end, guys. Right? Now, once after implementing the front end applications, next step two. Second, we need to go and implement what? Step two is for implementing the data sources. Once after implementing the front end applications, next we need to go and implement the data sources. So data sources means what? This is step two, data sources. Now data sources means what? The place where the companies will store their business data. Data sources means what? The place where the companies will store the business data, right? And next, once after implementing the data sources, next we need to go and implement what? Automations. Once after data sources, next preference is for what? We need to go and perform some automations. We need to implement some automations. This is the third step. Third step is what? Implementing the automations. And next, finally, the fourth step. The fourth step is what? Data analysis. Finally, the fourth step is what? Data analysis. Now, data analysis means what? This is the fourth step. Data analysis means what? Showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports. If you see, these are all the visuals, guys. These are all the visuals. Showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of report, we'll call it as data analysis. Nowadays, most of the companies are preferred to analyze their business data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports only, guys. Now, these are all called as visuals or reports. If you are showing the data in the form of visuals or reports, then we'll call it as data analysis. So these are the four steps involved in this case. So now we understand this business applications process is a how many step process? It's a 4-step process. Let me keep that point here. So we come to know that business applications process is a 4-step process, guys. Now, what are the 4 steps involved in this? Step 1 is what? Front-end applications. So always recommended to start with front-end. Front-end means what? Creating the apps, websites, and then chatbot. These 3 comes on the front-end. Once after front-end, second step is for what? We need to go and implement some data sources. Next, once after data sources, next go and implement what? Automations. Once after implementing automations, next go and implement what? Finally, data analysis. Data analysis means what? Creating the visuals or reports, guys. Showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of report. So now, these are the 4 steps involved in this while implementing the business applications process. Now, always recommended to start with front-end applications, guys. Let's take, irrespective of starting with front-end applications, let's take, if you want to start with the data analysis first. Now, it is possible to start with data analysis initially means, no, guys, it is not possible. Why? Because if you want to do the data analysis, before that must and should we need to have the data sources. That means this data analysis depends on what? Data analysis is depending on the data sources. Now, if you have the data sources, then you can do the data analysis. No, again, it is not possible. So again, this data sources is depending on what? Front-end applications. And also these automations, majority of the times, it depends on the data sources. This automations also depends on what? Data sources. And sometimes automations depends on the front-end applications also. So now what we understand here, this 4-step business applications process, whatever the 4 steps we discussed, this 4-step business applications process is connected with each other, guys. All these 4 steps are connected with each other internally. So how these 4 steps are connected with each other internally, and how they are connected, how these 4 steps are connected, and why they are connected. So you'll understand, yes, we'll come to know. We'll discuss this architecture in a detailed way, right? So for now, as we understand that business applications process is a 4-step process. Let me go and keep that point here. Business applications process is a how many step process? It's a 4-step process. What are the steps involved in this? The first step is front-end applications. Second step is what? Data sources. Let me list out those here, guys. And third step is what? Automation. And the fourth step is what? Data analysis. These are the 4 steps involved in this, right? All right. Now let me go and we'll discuss, guys. We'll discuss about what is front-end applications, what is meant by data sources, what is meant by automation, what's meant by data analysis. And also we'll come to know how these 4 steps are connected, how this data analysis depends on the data sources, why they are connected, and how this data sources depends on the front-end applications, and how this automations depends on the data sources, how these 4 steps are connected with each other internally. You'll understand, right? Fine. Okay, let's start implementing this business applications process, guys. Now, as I said that always start with what? Front-end. Front-end applications means what? Creating the apps, websites, and then chatbot. These 3 comes under where? Front-end, right? And now try to understand, yes. Now I'm having random applications. Now keep in mind one more point here. To understand this business applications process in a better way, to understand this 4-step business applications process in a better way, let us assume that we are implementing this business applications process for one of these companies, guys. Any company if you take, I'll take the Swiggy company as a reference. So let us assume that we are trying to implement this business applications process for which company? Swiggy company. Swiggy company is doing what business? Food business. Keep in mind these 2 points, guys. First point, to understand this business applications process in a better way, let us assume that we are implementing this business applications process for which company? Swiggy. Swiggy is doing what business? Food business. Okay, fine. So now try to understand, guys. Here, Swiggy company, Swiggy company, they are ready with front-end applications. If the company is ready with front-end applications, then slowly they can start doing the business, guys. If the company is ready with front-end applications, then slowly they can start doing what? Business. Like testing their business functionality, promoting their business, right? Okay. As Swiggy company is doing some food business, now let's take I'm the customer. I'm the customer. As a customer, I want to buy some food item from the Swiggy. If you want to buy some food items from Swiggy, then what we need to do as a customer? We need to download and install the Swiggy app first. We need to download and install what? Swiggy app. Once after downloading and install the Swiggy app in your mobile phones, next we'll do what? Once after downloading and install the Swiggy app, next we'll do what? Next we'll go and place an order. We'll go and place an order. We are going to place an order in the Swiggy app. Now, once the order is placed, once the order is placed, once the order is placed, within 30 minutes to 1 hour, Swiggy company will go and deliver that food item to us. Correct? Right. This is what we know as a customer, guys. As a customer, we know that we are placing an order in the app. Once the order is placed, Swiggy company will deliver that food item to that customer within 30 minutes to 1 hour. This is what the customers will know, right? But try to understand here. So you are going to work as a Power Platform developer, right? You are going to work as a Power Platform developer. Now, as a Power Platform developer, you need to understand one point here, guys. What you need to understand here is, keep in mind, whenever the customer places an order in the app, what the customer is doing here is, customer is placing an order means, if the customer is placing an order means, customer is generating some business data, guys. Let's take I'm the customer. If I place an order in the Swiggy app means, I am generating some business data for Swiggy company. Now, what kind of business data customers will generate for Swiggy company? Let me explain, guys. Customers will generate orders data, guys. Customers will generate what data? Customers will generate the orders data. Like order ID, What's the ID of that order? Whenever you place an order, it will generate one ID of that order. And also we'll generate what? sales related data, what's the selling price of that food item of the order, profits related data. By selling that food item, what the profit the Swiggy company will get, profits related data, sales related data, profits related data, and also will generate what food items, which food item the customer is placed, food items related data, and also will generate what uh, restaurants related data, restaurants related data, right, restaurants related data, and also will generate what customers related data, like who is the customer placing an order, customer name, customer ID, mobile number, delivery address. So order date and time, or delivery date and time. So like this will generate some kind of information, right? So now what we understand, whenever the customer places an order in the app, if the customer is placing an order, means customer is generating this kind of business data. So basically it is called as orders data, guys. It is called as orders data. So orders data will call it as business data here. We'll call it as what? Business data. So now where the Swiggy company will store the details of the order, whenever the customer places an order, where the Swiggy company will store that orders data. Keep in mind, guys, whenever the order is placed in the app, what happens internally means complete details of that order, complete details of that order will comes into the data sources. Complete details of that order will comes into where? Data sources. Data sources contains what? Orders data. But here in the data sources, we don't call it as orders data, we'll call it as what? Business data, guys. So now we understand whenever the customer places an order in the app, the complete details of that order will comes into where? Data sources. Now data sources contains what? Business data. Okay, fine. And now in which format the companies will store the business data in the data sources? Companies will store the business data in the form of tables, guys. Companies will store the business data in the form of what? Tables. Companies will store the business data in the form of what? Tabular format. Keep in mind up to here. So still now we discussed about whenever the customer places an order, the complete details of that order, the complete details of that order will comes into the data sources. So data sources is the place where the companies will store the business data in the form of what? Tables, right? Okay, right. We understand step one and step two. Now step three. Step three is nothing but what? Automation. So automation is nothing but what? Let's take sending the automated emails to the customers, or sending the automated text messages to the customers, or getting the approvals, auto approvals. This we can do automatically, guys. So now we need to understand here where the Swiggy company, we need to understand here where the Swiggy company will go and perform the automations, guys. Where the Swiggy company will go and perform what? Automations. Now try to understand, guys. Let me explain you. Try to understand. If you observe, whenever the customer places an order, whenever the customer places an order in the app, if you observe, customer will receive one email. Customer receives one email. Once the order is placed successfully, Swiggy company send one email to that customer regarding that order. That it will send an email that your order is placed successfully. Thanks for placing the order. Now, whatever the mails the Swiggy company is sending to the customer once the order is placed. Now, do you think that those mails are sent by the humans? Do you think that whatever the mails the Swiggy company is sending to the customers once the order is placed, do you think that those mails are sent by the humans or not? Yes or no? Someone can respond. Honest people. It's a simple question.
No.
No, those mails are not sent by humans. Those are not sent by the humans, guys. So whatever the mails the Swiggy company is sending to the customers once the order is placed, those mails are automated emails. Those are system generated emails. So now, why the Swiggy company is sending the emails to the customers automatically with the help of some softwares? Why they are not using the humans to send the emails, guys? Let me explain what the reasons behind it. There are two major reasons. There are a lot of reasons we'll have. The two major reasons here. What are the two major reasons is? Let us assume in Swiggy app, how many customers will place the orders in India? Let's take major cities in India like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, Calcutta, Mumbai. Let's take these major cities, guys. How many customers will place the orders just for one day? How many customers or how many orders? Both will be same. How many orders will be placed? Let's take an average number of per day. Let's take 50,000 orders. Definitely, guys, there is no doubt more than 50,000. Let's take 50,000 orders are placed for one day. 50,000 orders are placed for one day, right? And now, whenever the customer places an order, for all the customers, Swiggy company need to send one confirmation email or not? Yes. So how many mails they want to send? 50,000 orders are placed. So they need to send 50,000 emails to the customers. That order is placed. And then next it need to send one email to the restaurants also. The restaurant is going to prepare the food. It need to send one confirmation email to the restaurant that so and so food item you need to prepare, right? And next, once the food item is delivered, once the order is delivered, Swiggy company will send another one more email to that customer that your order is delivered successfully. So totally how many mails here? Just for one day, 1.5 lakh emails. Totally how many mails here? 1.5 lakh emails. So now tell me, it is possible to send 1.5 lakh mails per day with the help of humans. Humans can able to send 1.5 lakh mails per day. No, it is not possible, guys. Sending 1.5 lakh mails per day with the help of humans, no, it is not possible. But let us assume what Swiggy company is doing here is, let's take Swiggy company decided to do this work with the help of humans only, guys. So to do this work, let us assume that they are hiring some big manpower. Let's take they are hiring some big manpower. Let's say they're hiring some 30,000 employees. Let us assume that they're hiring some 30,000, 40,000, some thousands of employees they're hiring here. Maybe this 30,000 employees or 40,000 employees, maybe they can send 1.5 lakh mails per day. Okay, fine. It is good. Now, what is second reason, guys? This is my first reason, sending the mails 1.5 lakh mails. Second reason is what? When the Swiggy company will send the email to the customer, once the customer places an order, immediately within a fraction of seconds, guys, hardly it will take 4 to 5 seconds, not more than that. Hardly it will take 4 to 5 seconds, guys, not more than that. So now tell me, even though you have 30,000 or 40,000 employees will have, this 30,000, 40,000 employees, they can able to send the email to the customers in 4 to 5 seconds by understanding which order the customer is placed, who is the customer placing an order, what is the food item, what is the amount, what's the delivery address, understanding the orders data, and then composing the email, sending that email to the customer. It is possible to do it in 4 to 5 seconds, even though you have thousands of employees means? No, case, it is not possible. So within 4 to 5 seconds, by understanding the orders data, composing the email, sending that email manually, even though you have thousands of employees, no, it is not possible. So if you want to do this kind of work with the help of humans are not able to do this kind of work process, guys. This is called as repeated work process. This kind of work we'll call it as what? Repeated work. So for every customer, whenever the order is placed, this work process will be same. Now, if you want to do this kind of repeated work process with the help of humans, no, humans are not able to do it. So companies are decided to do this. Nowadays, companies are doing this work with the help of what? Systems or some softwares. So if you are doing some work with the help of systems or softwares, then we'll call it as what? Automation. So when the Swiggy company will send an email to the customer automatically means, once the customer places an order in the app, what happens here is the complete data will comes into where? Data sources. That the complete details of the order comes into the source. Whenever the data comes into the source, immediately by taking that data as a reference, which order the customer is placed, by taking that order's data as a reference, it is going to send one automated email to that customer. When the Swiggy company will send the email now, once the data comes into the data source, by taking that order's data as a reference, it will send one email. When the data comes into source, whenever the customer places an order, right? So whenever the order is placed, the data comes here. Once the data comes here, by taking that data as a reference, they'll go and send one automated email, right? So this is how where the Swiggy company will do the automations. And then finally, data analysis. Data analysis means what? Data analysis means showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports, guys. Showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports. Now, try to understand, guys. Okay. Nowadays, most of the companies are preferred to analyze the business data. Most of the companies are preferred to analyze the business data in the form of what? Visuals or reports. Now, if you want to create the visuals or reports, first of all, we need to have the data. To create the visuals or reports, first of all, we need to have what? Data. Now, where the companies will store the data? Already we know. Someone can answer, guess. Where the companies will store the data?
Data source.
Data sources, correct. As we know that already Companies will store the data in the data sources in the form of what? Tables. Companies will store the data in the data sources in the form of what? Tables. Right. Okay. And now let's take, there is one table here. Let's take the table name is sales table or orders table. Sales table or both will be same. Let us consider in this table I'm having some 10 million orders data is there. How many orders data will have? 10 million. Now, if 10 million means it is a huge number, guys, huge number of rows. Now, if you have this, if you have the huge volumes of data in the form of tables, or if you have the data in the form of tables, if you have the data in the form of tables, it is not possible to analyze the data. It is not possible to analyze the data. So in order to go and analyze the data in a better way, what the companies are doing here is whatever the data is there in the form of tables, they are they are going to show the data in the form of visuals or reports. Whatever the data is there in the form of tables, now they are showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports. Now, once after showing the data in the form of visuals or reports, then by seeing these visuals or reports, companies will go and analyze the data, guys. So if the data is in the form of visuals or reports, then it is easy for the companies to analyze the business data, right? So to create the visuals or reports for data analysis, must and should we need to have what? Data sources. Without having the data sources, that means if you are not having the data sources, means then you are not storing your business data anywhere. If you are not storing your business data, then how you can analyze? It is not possible, right? So let me go and open one report here, guys, so that you'll understand a better way. I'll open one report so that you'll understand a better way. Let it open. Right. So this is one report. I'm opening one report here. This report is a sales report, guys. It is what report? It is a sales report. Now I'm discussing about orders data. So there is a table called orders table, guys. Here I'm having the orders data, like order ID, order date, ship date. Like this, will have some data. Now, how many orders data will have here? 10,000, near 10,000. 10,000 orders data is there. Let me give one simple example, guys. Let's take, I'm having one column here called region column. Let's take, there is a column called what? Region column. And here we have these regions. And there is a column called sales column. Now I want to know region wise what sales, region wise what the sales they're doing. Now it is possible for you to understand region wise what the sales if the data is in the form of table. No, guys, it is not possible. So now what I'm doing here is whatever the data is there in the form of table here, I'm showing that data here in the form of visuals or reports. This is complete one report, guys. This complete is one report, and these are all the visuals. And now see in this report, easily you can understand. Here I'm showing what? Total number of products. Quantity means total number of products they are selling, total sales, total profit, total orders placed, total discounts they're providing. And here I'm showing what? Sales by category. Here I'm showing what? Sales by category. So which category is doing the highest sales? Technology. Which is doing the second highest sales? Furniture. Which is doing the least sales? Office supplies. And you can see here region wise sales. I said that here region wise sales, it is difficult to understand. It is not possible, first of all. But here, how much time it will take for you to understand the region wise sales? Which is the region doing the highest sales? Which is the doing the region doing second highest sales? Third. This is the region doing the very less sales. This is the region which is doing the highest sales. How much time it is taking for you to understand this data now? A fraction of seconds. But here, it is not possible. If the data is in the form of tables, it is not possible to analyze this data. So that's why nowadays companies are preferred to create this kind of visuals or reports, guys, right? And also here, if you see, I'm showing what year-wise sales, in which year they're doing the highest sales, 2017, which year they're doing the less sales, 2015. By seeing these visuals or reports, what the companies will do, they'll go and analyze the business data, right? So this is called as data analysis, guys. Nowadays, most of the companies are preferred to analyze the business data in the form of visuals or reports. Now, to create the visuals or reports, we'll take the data from the data sources, right? Fine. Okay. So this is all about this four-step business applications process, guys. Now we understand what is meant with this four-step business applications process. Now, whatever discussed, let me go and keep those points here, guys. Whatever discussed still now, let me go and mention those points. So first we discussed about front-end applications. I said that what's meant by front-end applications? Front-end applications is nothing but front-end applications is nothing but doing certain repeated, sorry, front-end application is nothing but creating, let me keep here, creating apps, comma, websites, comma, chatbots. These three will come under the front end, right? Front end application, but creating the apps, websites, and chatbot. Next, data sources. I said that what's meant by data sources? Data sources means place, a place where the companies will store will store their business data. Companies will store their business data is known as is known as data sources. The place where the companies will store their business data will call it as what? Data sources. And next, automation. I said that what's something but automation. Automation is nothing but doing certain repeated work automatically without any human interactions. Without any human interactions. And then finally, data analysis. What is meant by data analysis? Data analysis means creating the visuals or reports. Let me keep here. Data analysis means it is one process, guys. The process of converting the business data into actionable information. The process of converting the business data into actionable information means what? Visuals or reports. Why I'm calling this visuals or reports as an actionable information means, let me give an example, guys. Let's take this here in this. This is the region being the less sales. Now, by seeing this visual, they'll take an action. So immediately they'll conduct a meeting with the South region sales manager. South region sales manager. They'll come to know what the reasons behind it, why you are doing the less sales in the South region. And they'll take some necessary steps to increase the sales in the South region. So by seeing this data, by seeing this visual, as they're taking some actions, right? That's why I'm calling it as what? Actionable information, right? So this is all about what is this four-step business applications process. Now my requirement, I want to go and implement this four-step business applications process using Power Platform. Now, how to implement this four-step business applications process with the help of Power Platform? How to implement a business applications process using Power Platform? This is what we need to understand, right? So let me go and mention that point here. First of all, let me go and keep here what is Power Platform, guys. Now we'll understand how to implement the business applications using Power Platform. To understand that point, first let me keep here what is Power Platform. So already we know what is Power Platform. Already we know that Power Platform is used to implement what? The business applications process. Let me keep that point here. Power Platform is used to Microsoft Power Platform is used to implement. It is used to implement the business applications process of an organization. It is used to implement the business applications process of an organization, right? So now I want to implement it. I want to implement this four-step business applications process now. I want to implement this four-step business applications process using Power Platform. How to implement it. Now, before going to start discussing how to implement this four-step business applications process using Power Platform, let me go and discuss one more point here, guys. That is Power Platform architecture. First, we'll understand the architecture of Power Platform so that you will be, if you know the architecture of Power Platform, then it is easy for you to understand how to implement this business applications process with the help of Power Platform. So let me go and show you the Power Platform architecture, guys. This is what the architecture of Microsoft Power Platform architecture. So here you need to keep in 2 points, guys. First of all, here we need to keep in mind 2 points. What we need to keep in mind here is the first point we need to understand. First point, as we know that Power Platform is used for what? Power Platform is used to implement the four-step business applications process. It is used to implement the four-step business applications process. And the second point we need to understand here, Power Platform, it is not a single software, guys. Power Platform means don't think that it is a single software. Power Platform is not a single software. Power Platform means it's a collection of softwares. There are different softwares in the Power Platform. What are the different softwares we'll have in the Power Platform and what is the use of them? You'll understand. We'll go and discuss on, right? For now, keep in mind these 2 points, guys. Right. Okay. Let's start understanding it. So now, as we know that Power Platform is used to implement the business applications process. In the business applications process, as I said that always, we'll start with what? Front end. Always it is recommended to start with front end applications. This is the first step. Now, to implement the front end applications, to implement what? To implement the front end applications. Now, what are the different softwares we have? We have the different softwares like Power Apps, Power Pages, and Power Virtual Agent. These are three softwares we'll have to implement what? Front end applications. Once after implementing front end applications, step two, data sources. Now, if you want to store the business data within the Power Platform, if you want to store the business data, keep in mind this point. If you want to store the business data within the Power Platform, then go and use Dataverse. What is this Dataverse means? Dataverse is an inbuilt, it is an inbuilt data storage software within the Power Platform, guys. It is an inbuilt data storage software within the Power Platform. If you want to store the business data within the Power Platform means go and use Dataverse. It is inbuilt software within the Power Platform where we can store the data. Not only Dataverse, guys. Even Power Platform will support to store the data in the other data sources like SQL Server, SharePoint, Oracle, MySQL, Excel, CSV, SAP, HANA, Dynamics 3. Like this, it will support almost all the different types of data sources. But inbuilt is what? Dataverse. This is the step two. And step three, I need to do the automations. To perform the automations, go and use what? Power Automate. There is a software called Power Automate, which is used to do what? Automations. This is the third step. And then now finally I want to perform what? Data analysis. Now to perform the data analysis, go and use what? Microsoft Power BI. This is the fourth step. So to perform the data analysis, we'll have a software called Power BI, which is used to create the visuals or reports, right? So now what we understand, Power Platform, it is not a single software. Power Platform means it's a collection of software. Power Platform means it is a collection of softwares. We have the different softwares in the Power Platform, right? So these are all the different softwares we'll have. Now with the help of this collection of softwares, we'll do what? We'll go and implement the four-step business applications process, right? So let me go and mention that point here, guys. As we come to know, Power Platform is not a single software. Power Platform is a collection of softwares. Let me mention that point here. Power Platform is a collection of softwares. Now, what are the different softwares we'll have in the Power Platform? Let me list out all those here. Let me list out. The first one, I'll keep here Power Apps. Second one, I'm going to keep here Power Automate. Power Automate. Next, I'll keep here Power BI. Next, Power Pages. Power Virtual Agent. Power Virtual Agent. And then finally, Dataverse. So these are the different softwares we'll have. Now, with the help of this collection of softwares, we need to understand how to implement this business applications process. Let me start implementing this. With the help of this collection of softwares, how to implement this four-step business applications process, right? Let me start implementing. First, we'll start with front end. First, we'll start with what? Front end. So in the front end applications, first I'll start with apps. Now, if you want to create the apps, then go and use what? Go and use which software? Power Apps. Now, what is Power Apps? Let me keep here. What is Power Apps? Power Apps is used to Power Apps is used to create the apps or the forms within the Power Platform. If you want to create the apps or the forms within the Power Platform, then Go and use what? Power Apps. Within the Power Platform, if you want to create the apps or the forms, then go and use the Power Apps, right? And next, I want to create the websites. To create the websites, go and use what? Power Pages. What is this Power Pages? Uh, Power Pages is used to Power Pages is used to create the secured web pages. Web pages. Here in the Power Platform terminology, we don't call it as websites, guys. We'll call it as what? Web pages. If you want to create the web pages for your organization, go and use Power Pages. And next, chartboards. Chartboard. Now, to create the chartboards, go and use what? To create the chartboards, go and use what? Power Virtual Agent. What is this Power Virtual Agent? This Power Virtual Agent, this Power Virtual Agent is used to create AI chatbots. AI chatbots. If you want to create chatbots, means what? It is just like a customer support case. Customer support. If you want to create any chatbots, then go and use what? Power Virtual Agent, right? Fine. Once after front end, next step two is what? Data sources. Now, I said that already. What is the inbuilt data storage software? Dataverse. Now, what is Dataverse? Uh, what is Dataverse? Dataverse is a database software. It is a database software which is used to which is used to store the business data within the Power Platform. If you want to store the business data within the Power Platform, then go and use Dataverse. Otherwise, even it will allows you to store the data in the different data sources like SQL, SharePoint, Oracle, MySQL. So it will store that. It allows you to store the data in the different data sources. Inbuilt is Dataverse, right? And next, automations. Third step. Now to do the automations, go and use what? Power Automate. So what is Power Automate? Let me keep here. Power Automate. What is Power Automate? Power Automate is an, let me keep here. Power Automate is an automation software which is used to automate the repeated work process. As I said that already, every organization will have some repeated work process. Now I want to automate that work process. To automate that work process, I need to have an automation software. What's that software I'm using here? Power Automate. So Power Automate is an automation software which is used to automate what work? Repeated work, right? And next, finally, the last step, data analysis. Now, to perform the data analysis, go and use what? Power BI. What is Power BI? Power BI is a Power BI is a data analytics software. It is a data analytics software which is used for what? Which is used to analyze the business data stored in data sources. Whatever the business data stored in the data sources, I need to analyze the data. To analyze that, I will go and use what? Power BI. So now we understand with the help of this collection of softwares, now we are able to implement this four-step business applications process or not? Yes. With the help of this collection of softwares, now we understand how to implement this four-step business applications. And also, whatever the 6 softwares I listed here, the same 6 points I mentioned at the beginning of the session, guys. I said that if you observe what we can do with the help of Power Platform, I said that within the Power Platform, we can create the apps. To create the apps, go and use what? Power Apps. And to create the websites, go and use what? Power Pages. To create a chatbot, go and use what? Power Virtual Agent. To do the automations, go and use what? Power Automate. To store the data, go and use what? Dataverse. To do the data analysis, go and use what? Power BI. So whatever the 6 points I listed here, the same I'm discussing here also or not? Yes, right. So now I done with the session, guys. This is all about what is Power Platform. I done with the session. Let me conclude it. Conclude it. So as I said that in today's class, you will be understanding the complete introduction to Power Platform. So in today's class, we understand what is Power Platform, We understand about what is meant by business applications. Next, we understand how to implement these business applications using Power Platform. And also we understand the Power Platform architecture, right? Next we come to know how to implement all the 6 components in the Power Platform. And also we understand why we need to implement them. Next, we discussed about who will use Power Platform and who will hire the Power Platform. And then from here, we come to know that there are 2 more points we need to understand. From here, we understand that what is the need of business applications and how to implement the business applications using Power Platform software. And also we come to know that while implementing the business applications, there is one process we need to follow. That process we'll call it as what? Business applications process. Business applications process is a how many step process? 4 steps. These are the 4 steps involved in this. Now we understand what are the 4 steps involved in this. Step by step, each and every step we discussed in a detailed way. We understand what is this 4-step business applications process, and also we come to know how these 4 steps are connected with each other internally. And then finally, we come to know how to implement this business applications process with the help of this collection of softwares in the Power Platform. Right. So I done with the session. So now please make a note. So I'll take the questions now. I'll take the questions. Before Poon take the questions, please make a note. Let me copy something from here. To write everything, it will take some lot of time. I'll do copy paste. Just copy something from here to here. Copy and then paste it. So make a note. So when the new batch will start, guys, let us consider today is the demo. So new batch will start from when? Let me keep here the new batch start date. New batch will start from Wednesday, guys. New batch will start from when? Wednesday, 20th of May. So new batch will start from 20th of May. That means in the coming week we'll start the new batch. 20th of May, it is on Wednesday. New batch will start at 20th of May, that is Wednesday. And the batch timing is evening 7:30 to 9 o'clock. 7:30 to 9. So the session will be 1 to 1.5 hour, guys. 1 hour to 1.5 hour. It depends on the content. We are discussing. The session will be for 1 to 1.5 hour session. So 7:30 to 9 o'clock. So new batch will start from when? Let us consider today is the demo. An introduction to Power Platform. So when we'll start the new batch? 20th of May. That is on Wednesday. At what time? Evening 7:30 to 9 p.m. Daily 1 to 1.5 hour session. Right? 1 to 1.5 hour session. Right? And next point, coming 2 more classes are free, guys. So you have the access to attend the 3 free classes. You have the access to attend how many free classes? 3 free classes. Today is the class 1. Coming 2 more classes are free, guys. That means 20th and 21st of May, you can attend for a free. So online people, whatever the link you are using today, use that same link to attend the coming 2 more classes. What I'll discuss there in the coming 2 more classes, that is on Wednesday and Thursday, we'll discuss practicals, guys. Practically at a high level, we'll understand how Power Platform software works. So in today's class, I haven't shown you even 1% practical, guys. Even 1 point I haven't shown you practical. I discuss it theoretically every point. So whatever I discussed theoretically here in today's class, I will show you practically in the next coming classes, guys. In the next coming 2 classes, I'll show you practically how to create an app in the Power Apps, and then how to store the data in the data sources, how to take the data reference, how to do the automations, and how to create the visuals. Whatever I discussed here in today's class theoretically, the same points I will show you practically in the next coming 2 more free classes, right? So as it is free of cost and where we'll discuss some practicals, try to attend those 2 classes, guys, right? Once after completion of this 2 free classes where we'll discuss some practicals, then if you are comfortable with this training, then only you can go and register, right? So this is the new batch details. And next, coming to today's class, once after completion of today's class, I'll be sharing one mail with you. In that email, you'll get the class notes. I will share today's class notepad. This complete class notes, I will share it with you, right? You'll get the class notes. And also I'll share what recorded video, today's class video. And also I'll share what course content. So I think all of you received the content. If not, I'll share it again. I'll share the course content. This is the course content. I clearly listed here what topics I'm going to cover in the coming classes. You please go and walk through this content once so that you'll understand what I am going to cover in the coming sessions, upcoming sessions, right? Fine. Okay. And how many months the duration? Course duration is 2 months. Daily 1 to 1.5 hour session. Daily 2 months is the duration, 1 to 1.5 hour. Mostly we have the classes on weekdays, Monday to Friday, right? And next, live classes access. How many months you have the access to attend the live classes? 6 months, guys. So 2 months will complete the course. Within 2 months, if you miss any classes or if you want to attend the classes again, you have the access to attend the live class up to 6 months from the date of joining us. That means, let's take if you join today, from today, how many months you have the access to attend the live classes? 6 months, right? And next, I said that 2 months is the duration, right? 2 months is the course duration. Now, what skills you are going to learn in these 2 months? In these 2 months, we are going to discuss Power Apps. In the Power Apps, we are going to discuss about the Canvas apps, guys. We are going to concentrate on the Canvas apps. And next, we'll discuss about Power Automate. In Power Automate, we are going to cover the cloud flows. So we are going to concentrate more on Power Apps and Power Automate, guys. Both Power Apps and Power Automate, we are going to discuss from basics to advanced, from the scratch, from basics to advanced. We'll discuss here from the scratch to expert level. So once after completion of this training, with this training, from basics to advanced will cover. Once after completion of this training, so you can keep comfortable, you can keep maximum 3 years of experience, guys. We'll teach you in that way. So in this training, you'll be getting 3 years of experience. How much knowledge 3 years experience professionals will have? That knowledge you can gain here. With this training, you can comfortably keep 3 years of experience in Power Platform, right? That is in Power Apps and Power Automate. Then along with Power Apps and Power Automate, we'll discuss few data sources: SharePoint, Dataverse, and SQL. These are the 3 data sources which I'm going to use in this 2 months of course duration, right? And next, coming to the registered students, people, those who got registered with us. So what add-ons you'll get, guys? Registered students, daily I will share the class notes. Every day class notes I will share. And most importantly, all recordings. So I'll share all the recordings. How many years you have the access for the recordings? 2 years. 2 years we have the access for the recordings. And also I'll share the interview question answers with you. I'll share the interview question answers with you. Also I'll share the resumes, and also I'll share projects to keep it in your resumes, and also we'll conduct the mock interviews. Along with this, what add-ons you will get here is license. If you want to practice Power Apps and Power Automate, you need to have the Microsoft 365 developer account, guys. If you want to purchase this license, it will be around 5,000 plus per month. But we'll provide this license for free of cost for 6 months, guys. We'll share the licenses to you, which is free of cost for 6 months. We'll share the usernames and passwords. With the help of that usernames and passwords, you can go and start doing practice, right? It is not cost, it is free. And next, as I said, that live classes access. How many months you have the access for the live classes? 6 months from the date of joining, right? So these are all the add-ons you'll get, people, those who got registered. And next, coming to the Power Platform training. Here, Power Platform training will have on WhatsApp community, guys. Most of the students, I think you are not joining in the community. I'm not sure why you people are not joining. So please join the community, guys. I'm keeping that community link in the chat box. Please join in the community. Why? Because if you join in the community, you'll get the latest updates. Any update regarding the Power Platform training, any new batches, any updates in the videos, or any new courses we are teaching, I'll update in that community. Anyway, you'll get the mails. Your mail ID is with us, then we'll share. But if you have WhatsApp means, then you'll see the WhatsApp every half an hour, right? So you can get the updates very frequently. So people, those who haven't joined in the community, I'm keeping the community link in the chat box. Use that link and join the community to get the latest updates. Not only updates, even today's class video, today's class notes, and course content, everything I will share in that WhatsApp community, guys, right? Please join there if you haven't joined. And if you have any questions regarding the fees details and also other batch timings, I'll provide this front office team contact details. These are the front office team contact details. I'm keeping them in the chat box. If you want, you can reach out to my team regarding alternate batch timings and fees details. And now we'll go with the questions, guys. Now, before going to take the questions from your end, the most commonly asking question: is there any prerequisite to learn Power Apps and Power Automate? To learn Power Apps and Power Automate, do we require any prior knowledge? The answer is no. The answer is what? No. No prerequisites to learn Power Apps and Power Automate, guys. Why? Because most of the work, 60 to 70% of the work, 60 to 70% of the work will be done. Just please don't do any unnecessary stuff in the class. Prakash. 60 to 70% of the work will be done by using the GUI options, guys. Just drag and drop. Remaining 30 to 40% of work also, remaining 30 to 40% of work will be done by using some functions, guys. Not coding, some functions, Excel-like functions, right? So here there is no coding is involved, and you don't require any prior IT knowledge. Anybody can learn this. People, those who are coming from non-IT background, non-technical background, who are working in non-IT, and also who have some career gap and who wants to switch their careers. So everybody can learn this one, guys, because there is no coding involved and you don't require any prior IT knowledge to learn these technologies. It is easy to understand, easily we can learn, and we can survive in the IT for longer time. There is no doubt in that, because these tools are Microsoft tools. The Microsoft tool, then blindly we can trust the Microsoft and we can go and learn and we can do the job, right? Fine. So now as we come to know, to learn the Power Apps and Power Automate, there is no prerequisite because of these reasons, right? So now I'll stop here. Now, if you have any questions, you can please unmute and go ahead, guys. So before going to take the questions, as I said that when the new batch will start, from Wednesday, 20th of May. 20th of May, right? And what's the batch timing? Evening 7:30 to 9 p.m. every day, 1 to 1.5 hour session will be there. Now let's go to questions. Now, if you have any questions, online people, now you can please raise your hands and I'll talk to you one-on-one.